Hey guys, this is Dan from Motive, and today we're going to run through a hip car, which is a controlled articular rotation. The goal of this exercise is to really just explore the hip and to see where you can move your hip correctly and where you might find a compensation occur. So, as you go through this hip car, it's really important to make sure that your body stays tight throughout and that you keep your body still. If you were to dump your hips backwards or forwards or rock side to side in any way, you're taking away from actually moving your hip and you're starting to compensate in other directions. So, I'm going to start with moving my right hip, which I want to make sure that my left leg stays still. I'm going to be in a single leg balance, so I want to make sure that this leg stays anchored to the ground and stays tight. So, I'm going to start with my core. Move all that force and energy down through my leg, through the glutes, and even into my arms and into my chest. I'm going to start with adduction, so bringing my leg close to the midline, and then I'm going to find the max flexion of my leg. So I'm bringing my knee up towards the ceiling and trying to get my hip up as high as I can. From there, I want to go through external rotation, so I'm trying to lift my heel up towards the ceiling as high as I can and keeping my knee up as high as I can in that flexion. From there, I want to go through abduction. So I'm going to swing my leg out to the side, get up as high as I can. I'm still focusing on getting my knee up as high as I can and my heel up as high as I can at that point. So I've reached my max range of motion through here. Now it's really important to keep this knee still. And now I'm going through internal rotation. So instead of my heel going up towards the ceiling, I want to try to rotate and kick that heel back. At this point, it's really important not to rock side to side. Try to maintain your balance, try to remain upright, and try to drive that heel up towards the ceiling and your hip down into internal rotation. From there, I want to kick my heel back as far as I can through extension, remain upright, and then knees come back together to create the full circle. That was one half of the hip car. Now we're going to work in the opposite direction. So once again, keep your core tight, keep your other leg stationary, keep your arms straight out, your pecs engaged, everything is tight here. You're going to start with driving your heel backwards. Try to keep your hips forward. Don't dump your hips back and arch your lower back here. So keep your glutes engaged and kick straight back. From there, you want to go straight out into abduction. So pop that leg straight out. You're going to feel your glute work and your hip should be up as high as you can. Remember to stay upright in this position. From there, you want to go back through that external rotation. So here, driving that heel up towards the ceiling. Your knee should be up as high as you can into that flexion at this point, and then all the way back through that adduction. You should feel it through the inner thigh. Knees come back together and right back down. Once again, guys, the goal of this exercise is to explore your movements through your hip. Your hip works in 6 different directions. It can flex, extend, adduct, which means going through close to the midline. It can abduct, come away. It can also laterally rotate and medially rotate. So external rotate and internal rotate. You might find yourself compensating in one of those directions or multiple of those directions. You might feel pinching in the anterior part, lateral, or posterior part of your hip. If you do find any pinching or pain, back off a little bit and explore the motions that you feel comfortable with.